Okay, go ahead, Abhirami.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining in this solidarity event on a weekend early morning. So I have few housekeeping instructions before we kick off this event today. Um, Please use the chat box for solidarity message in this event today because we don't have question and answer sessions. And please be sensitive enough when you send a message in the chat box because we have workers from different countries and union leaders from different countries joining in this event. So please be sensitive about your chat. And for the interpretations, on your right hand side, there is a word logo. You can see that. And then there you can see different languages as English, and then French for Kannada, and then Bahasha, Bangla, Khmer, Sinhala, and Urdu. So if you click that, then you will have your own language interpretation where we have the interpreters to translate the session today. So you will not be on the original audio. Um, So for the mobile, again, the same logo, but then you can see the language interpretation sentence, and then you can click that. And then again, the same different languages will be popped in, and then you can click that specific language. But instead of French, it will be Kannada. For the rest remains the same. And then you can listen on your preferable language.
Okay, shall we start?
Yeah, so over to Avida.
Hello everyone, greetings from Asia Flowage Alliance. We are here today to show solidarity to our Bangladeshi comrades, ready-made garment sector workers. As the second largest manufacturer and exporter of garments in the world, Bangladesh has a critical role to play in ensuring fair wages and safe working conditions for its workers. However, it has been 5 years since the last minimum wage negotiation, and still the situation has only worsened for the workers since then. Despite the increase in workload and rising prices of daily essentials, the workers' purchasing power has halved, and their children have to drop out of school to support their family. Asia Floor Wage Alliance Bangladesh conducted a survey that revealed numerous unethical practices by fashion brands and suppliers during the pandemic, such as layoffs, non-payment of overtime, unfair terminations, and lack of protective measures for workers. It is essential to fix a sufficient minimum wage that will create stability and security for all workers and their families. Within Bangladesh legal framework, the national minimum wage is determined by the minimum wage board, which has recently been formed. Today, we will discuss the upcoming minimum wage negotiation for the ready-made garment worker industry and explore ways to ensure the fair wages and safe working conditions for all workers. We encourage you to participate actively and engage with our experts and follow attendees. So let's get started now. I would like to invite Comrade Suma to read statement by Asia Floor Wage Alliance Bangladesh in support to the demand of trade unions of ready-made garments sector to increase the minimum wage for garment workers in Bangladesh. Comrade Suma is member of Bangladesh Garment and Sweater Workers Trade Union Center. Over to you, Comrade Suma. Comrade Suma, can you hear us?
Yeah. I'm Sumaktar.
Hello.
I'm a leader of Bangladesh Garment and Sweater Trade Union Center.
Is she here?
Good morning, everyone. Asia Floor West Alliance, Bangladesh. Bangladesh RMZ sector demand
wage hike. Bangladesh, for the last time, conducted minimum wage negotiation in 2018. At that time, a major
Comrades,
$95
I will
was
read the statement in Bangla and you can listen to the translation and the meaning.
was fixed as the minimum wage for unskilled workers.
Comrade Suma, can you hear us?
There is technical problem. Please wait.
Okay.
I will request our moderator to
To read this statement of for us. Over to you,
I,
Akbar.
I will request the moderator to screen Shoma if it is possible. Moderator, please,
Um, yeah.
can you make Shoma visible on the screen?
Rashid bhai, could you request Sumakta ma'am to switch on her video, please?
Please switch on your. She was requested. Please wait.
Um,
Okay, as we wait for Suma ma'am to come back on audio and video, um, just give us 2 minutes. I think we will be having someone else reading the statement. If you could just give us a minute.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
On behalf of Shuma ma'am, I am trying to read a statement in Bangla.
On behalf of Suma, I'll present this paper. Thank you, everyone.
I'm reading this statement in Bangla. Asia Floor Wage Alliance বাংলাদেশ বিবৃতি পোশাক খাতের ট্রেড ইউনিয়নগুলির ন্যূনতম মজুরি বৃদ্ধির দাবি এপ্রিল 2023। বাংলাদেশের সর্বশেষ 2018 সালের ন্যূনতম মজুরি নিয়ে আলোচনা হয়। সেই সময় পোশাক শ্রমিকদের ন্যূনতম মজুরি
For the last time, Bangladesh fixed minimum wage in 2018. That time it was USD $95. Over the past 5 years, Bangladeshi government workers have continued to receive this poor level of wage, all the while sufferings through the skyrocketing cost of living and fallout of COVID-19 pandemic. Asia Wage Alliance Bangladesh is supporting the demand of trade unions to increase the minimum wage from $95 to within the range of $207 to $226. We strongly support the trade unions' demands for this minimum wage increase, as it is important step towards ensuring that government workers and their family can meet their basic needs. Government workers are the backbone of Bangladesh economy. The sector counted more than 80% of Bangladesh's total export earning, and it continued more than 11% of current GDP. Garment sector employed 4.4 million workers in the country. Most of them are women. These workers have helped make Bangladesh the second largest export earner of RMZ sector in this world. Over the past 5 years, RMZ export grown steadily, survived economic crisis without major setback in profit. However, the profit of RMZ workers profit is trickled down to the government workers in Bangladesh. The workers' hard work has increased export revenue since 2018, but the COVID-19 exposed the reality. Workers having living on the edge of bare survival, pushed them to extreme poverty and hunger. Their children are dropped from the school. Their parents are forced to borrow money for their survival. A study in 2015 titled Money, Money Heist in COVID-19 Wage Theft in Global Garment Supply Chain revealed wages fell sharply from $110 pre-COVID to $37 in 2020. The drastic fall of force workers to incur further debt just to pay all these basic demands in 2020. Over the course of 2021, workers couldn't recover from this devastation of pandemic and essential prices soared. The price of gasoline went up by 0.5% per liter, and the cost of electricity surged 5.3%, and rice price increased by 50%. But even today, there was no relief from the workers' crisis. AFWA Bangladesh conducted a comprehensive consumption study on 300 workers in 63 factories last quarter of 2021. The workers reported a per capita food consumption of 1,000 and 1,950 calorie worth $1.44 per day. Significantly, it is significantly below the poverty line food consumption standard of 2,122 calories. This is defined by the government survey. The malnutrition dips to the extreme concern. Our survey also found that the total expenditure of family is higher than their income. Even when there are two earners in a family working in the garment factory, on average, the total expenditure of a family is $292. For food, they expend $44, and for non-food, they expend 56%. But the family can earn combinedly not more than $259. This figure shows that unsustainability of the current wage structure in Bangladesh garment industry and the present debt cycle of if forces workers into a worker needed a minimum wage that meets her or his basic demands, needs, as well as their family. The minimum wage negotiation falls on the 10th anniversary of Bangladesh Accord on Fire and Building Safety. As the fight for higher minimum wage has never been more patient. AFWA Bangladesh continue to support the fight of health and safety of the workers and their family. It is of grave concern that garment workers are consuming less food than the poverty level carefully standards set by the Bangladesh government. This inadequate food intake undermines the health and safety of the workers and their families. An increase in minimum wage will play a key role in improving the health and safety of garment workers. Just uh, uh, just as we, government workers and the trade union leaders mobilized during previous wage negotiation in 2013 and 18, we will mobilize again to ensure the government to accept our logical demand. Insufficient wages harm a worker's well-being and ultimately the entire family. AFWA Bangladesh supports garment workers and their unions demands. The first demand is minimum wage between 207 and $226. And secondly, the negotiation process to update minimum wage in a line of annual basis compared with the inflation rate. We call on union and workers to fight for our rights, fair wage, and better working conditions. Asia Floor Alliance is a platform of 4 organizations. You are seeing this name also here mentioned. Those are Bangladesh Garments Worker Unity League, Textile Garment Workers Federation, Bangladesh Garments and Sweater Workers Trade Union Center, Green Bangla Garment Workers Federation, Bangladesh Garments and Industrial Workers Federation. Thank you all.
Thank you. I would like to request Arif again to present the findings of consumption survey of Asia Floor Wage Alliance. Arif, the floor is yours again.
Yes, thank you very much. Tasmin, PPT, please.
Yes, Arif, just give us a minute. Uh, One, could you please change it to the consumption survey PPT? Thank you.
সকলকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ যারা আজকে আমাদের এই বাংলাদেশের ন্যূনতম মজুরি আন্দোলনের আজকে অনলাইনে
Thank you all the participants who are supporting our wage movement in Bangladesh, especially the AFWA and the other organizations supporting us. Thank you all.
আমরা বাংলাদেশে আমাদের 2021-এর শেষ থেকে 2022-এর শুরু এই সময়টার মধ্যে আমরা একটা জরিপ চালিয়েছি বাংলাদেশের গার্মেন্টস সেক্টরের শ্রমিকদের নিয়ে সেই জরিপটি এখন আমি
We have conducted a survey on the garment workers in 2020. I'm sharing all the findings here with you. The aim of this survey was to find the food and non-food consumption of workers, actual living standard of workers at current wage level, and improve their lifestyle and family size and their earnings and depends and how they manage their family. And the level of poverty among workers where they are living now. And to ensure a dignity life to fix
next.
Can you change the slide, please?
Yes, thank you. যে তথ্যগুলি আমরা এই জরিপে সংগ্রহ করেছি সেই তথ্যগুলি হচ্ছে আপনার শ্রমিকদের তাদের নাম, তাদের ঠিকানা এবং অন্যান্য বিষয়গুলি এবং তাদের কর্মসংস্থান সংক্রান্ত যে তথ্যগুলি আছে সেই তথ্যগুলি কালেকশন করেছি। 3 নম্বরে আমরা তারা যে খাদ্য গ্রহণ করছে সেই খাদ্য গ্রহণের খরচটা আমরা সংগ্রহ করেছি এবং তারা যে ব্যবহার্য যে জিনিসপত্রের যে খরচ সেই খরচ এখানে আমরা সংগ্রহ করেছি এবং তাদের যে সম্পদগুলি তাদের আছে সেই সম্পদের পরিমাণটা আমরা নির্ণয় করার চেষ্টা করেছি এবং তাদের যে থাকার ব্যবস্থা, বাসস্থান এবং থাকার অবস্থা সেই অবস্থাটা আমরা জানার চেষ্টা করেছি। নেক্সট স্লাইড। এবং আমরা এই বাংলাদেশে যে
We have conducted this survey in 63 factories in Bangladesh, and it is on 304 workers. And this study was conducted between December 2021 to February 2022.
শ্রমিকের উপরে আমরা এই জরিপটা চালিয়েছি এবং এই জরিপের সময়কাল ছিল ডিসেম্বর 2021 থেকে ফেব্রুয়ারি 2022 পর্যন্ত এবং এই জরিপের সাথে
In this survey,
সংগঠন আছে 5টি, সেই সংগঠনের নেতা কর্মী এবং তাদের আমরা এই জরিপটি
makanan.
এখানে শস্য জাতীয় যে খাবারগুলি প্রথমে আমরা খাবার যে আইটেমগুলি আমরা তাদের কাছ থেকে হিসাব নিয়েছি সেগুলির মধ্যে
we have found it that
শস্য জাতীয় যে খাবারগুলি আছে সেই
workers take
10 থেকে 12 দিনের সেই হিসাবটা আমরা গ্রহণ করেছি এবং ডাল জাতীয় যে খাবারগুলি আছে সেই খাবার খরচ আমরা 30 দিনের নিয়েছি এবং 8 থেকে 10 এবং জাতীয় যে পণ্য আছে খাবারের সেই পণ্যগুলি 4 থেকে 10
ಫುಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇವಾಗ ಫುಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇವಾಗ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್
সেই হিসাব আমাদের কাছে আমরা গ্রহণ করেছি এবং
ವೆಜಿಟೇಬಲ್ 8 to 7 days ಫ್ರೂಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ 4ರಿಂದ 7 days ಆಯಿಲ್ 5ರಿಂದ 7 days so reference to 30 days beverages ಮತ್ತೆ 3ರಿಂದ 6 days 30 days spices 4 to 7 days 30 days cooked 2 days 4 days 30 days packed meals 2 to 4 30 days categories ಇವಾಗ
Cereal hanya dalam 10
আমাদের কাছে আছে এবং যে বেভারেজ যে খাদ্য পণ্যগুলি আছে পানীয় জাতীয় সেই খাদ্যগুলি 30 দিনের হিসাব এবং মশলা জাতীয় খাবার এবং সেই সাথে রান্না করা খাবার এবং প্যাকেট করা যে খাবার যেগুলি আছে সেই খাবারগুলিরও আমরা 30 দিনের হিসাব আমরা এখানে গ্রহণ করেছি এবং শ্রমিকের ব্যবহার্য যে জিনিসপত্র আছে বাসস্থান সহ গৃহস্থালির যে জিনিসগুলি আছে সেই জিনিসগুলির হিসাব আমরা এখানে গ্রহণ করেছি এবং তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করেছি। সেই জায়গায় ক্যাটাগরিতে আছে আপনার ফুটওয়্যার এন্ড ক্লোদিং মানে কাপড় এবং জুতা জাতীয় যে জিনিসগুলি আছে সেগুলি 2 সংখ্যায় এবং এই ফুড এবং ক্লোদিং এর যে হিসাবটা সেই হিসাবটা শুধু আমরা 1 বছরের নিয়েছি যেহেতু এই বিষয়গুলি প্রত্যেক মাসে প্রয়োজন হয় না।
Trong những cái này ở tại tôn nâng ca
ប្រើប្រាស់ដែលមិនមែនជាអាហារគឺគាត់អាចទិញសម្លៀកបំពាក់និងស្បែកជើងតែចំនួន2ឯងក្នុងមួយឆ្នាំ
এবং গৃহস্থালী জিনিসপত্রের খরচ 30 দিনের এবং যে সেবাগুলি শ্রমিকরা গ্রহণ করে
6 items करते 30 days period तोगंತಾರೆ so ಅದಕ್ಕೆ household consumption ಗಳು 14 days items 14 items ಇದ್ರೆ ಇವರು 13 days time period ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ so ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ so 9 items ಇರುತ್ತೆ 30 days ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ
সর্বমোট সকল ধরনের ব্যয় এখানে তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করা হয়েছে নেক্সট
ಇದು ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ యొక్క ಫುಡ್ ನಾನ್ ಫುಡ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಚಾರ್ಟ್ ಅವರು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದು ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕು
এখানে আসলে মানে এশিয়া ফ্লোরওয়েজ
ಇವಾಗ রিমাইন্ডার অফ এশিয়া ফ্লোরওয়েজ প্রিন্সিপল
মেনে কনজাম্পশন সার্ভে বা এই জরিপটা আমরা চালিয়েছি সেই জরিপটাকে এখানে সিস্টেমটাকে আমরা এখানে বর্ণনা করার চেষ্টা করেছি এটা আর সেটা হচ্ছে যে ক্যালোরির হিসাব অনুযায়ী একটি মানে একজন ইউনিট ইউনিটের যে হিসাব সেই হিসাবকে আমরা
कैलोरी का प्रमाण 5 ग्राम है
ক্যালোরি হিসাবে আমরা
एशिया
হিসাব করেছি
अगर वो बच्चा है तो 0.30,000 जो कैलोरीज है पर फैमिली है स्टैंडर्ड
এই 3000 কিলো ক্যালোরি সমপরিমাণ খাদ্যের প্রয়োজন এবং কনজাম্পশন ইউনিট এবং ইউনিট হিসেবে আমরা এখানে
In terms of consumption unit, we calculated adult person, children. AFWA standard is 3 consumption units.
সন্তান বাচ্চাদেরকে ধরা হয়েছে 0.5
Half. Children are calculated half than adult person.
সেই হিসাবে AFWA স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অনুযায়ী একটা পরিবারের জন্য
According to AFWA standard, a family need 3000 calorie for the living. And it is also merged with World Bank standard. Next slide, please.
Yes, এবং AFWAর যে চারটি ধাপের যে
AFWA fixed living wage in 4 steps. The first step is calculate actual calories intake per person per capita per month in a family.
পরিবারে যে ক্যালোরি গ্রহণ করা হয় সেই
That means
প্রথম ধাপে আমরা
if every person take how much calorie in a month is counted here, and it is calculated as a family.
অনুযায়ী যে খরচ সেই খরচটা আমরা এখানে তুলে চেষ্টা করেছি এবং দ্বিতীয় ধাপের আরেকটি
And secondly, we calculated expenditure for actual calories intake per capita per person per month in a family. Calculated expenditure for 300 calories intake for a family consumption unit. That means a family with 3 members in their family.
খরচটাকে এখানে তুলে ধরার চেষ্টা করা হয়েছে এবং সেই সাথে আরো যে বিষয় সেটা হচ্ছে যে রেশিও মানে খাবার এবং ব্যবহার্য জিনিসের খরচের যে
We have also calculated their food and non-food items of a 3-member family as a standard.
সেই রেশিও ফুড এক্সপেন্স ফর দা মানে পরিবারের 3 জনের যে খাবারের হিসাব সেই খাবারের 1 মাসের রেশিওটা আমরা এখানে
This is standard of 1 month calculation. In 4th stage, we have calculated total food and non-food expenditure of a 3-member family unit of a worker for a month, converted total expenditure of a family
ব্যাংকের যে
to a World Bank
যে
calculation
ইয়াটা ব্যবহার করা হয় লিভিং ওয়েজের ক্ষেত্রে, সেই ক্ষেত্রে এই খরচটাকে সেই ক্রয় ক্ষমতার গুরুত্ব অনুযায়ী সেই
and measure it the importance on the basis of importance of living wage estimation.
এশিয়ার সবগুলি দেশের যে এভারেজ
And we have corrected the average
সেই হিসাবটা
minimum wage in Asian countries
এবং সেই তারপর
and converted regional living expenditure to figure out the
মুদ্রা অনুযায়ী
real
আবার কনভার্ট করার চেষ্টা করি।
living cost.
ধন্যবাদ। পরের স্লাইড নেক্সট প্লিজ।
Next slide, please.
নেক্সট এই জায়গায় আমরা মানে যে
For living wage, we have found that a 3-member family need 300 calories and non-food plus non-food expenditures.
যেমন লিভিং
Food expenditures estimated expenditure per calorie 300 into 30 into 3. This is the method how we calculate the total expenditure of a worker.
সেই জিনিসপত্র মোট হচ্ছে বাঁচার মতো মজুরি এবং সেটা
And this is the standard to find out the living wage.
প্রথম ধাপ এবং দ্বিতীয় ধাপে যেটা
And
দেখানো হয়েছে যে খাবারের খরচ সমান কিলো ক্যালোরির যে খরচ সেই
is explaining how it is calculated.
মানে পার কিলো ক্যালোরি গুণন 3000 ক্যালোরি এক একজনের এক এক ইউনিটের সেই
A
সাথে
person
দিনের হিসাব এবং
need 300, a family need
তিনজনকে হিসাব করে 3 ইউনিট হিসাব করে আমরা এখানে
a family of 3 persons, they need
পার ক্যালোরির খরচ আমরা এখানে বের করেছি যে মাথা পিছু খাবারের খরচ ভাগ মাথা পিছু আপনার যে ক্যালোরির কনজাম্পশন আছে গ্রহণ করা হয় সেটা দিয়ে ভাগ করে আমরা সেটা বের করেছি এবং তৃতীয় ধাপে যেটা হয়েছে যে নন ফুড এক্সপেন্স মানে ব্যবহার্য যে জিনিসপত্র সেই জিনিসপত্রর সমান খাবারের খরচ বিয়োগ ফুড মানে
we have calculated this non-food expenditure expenses estimated food expenditure, non-food expenditure, total consumption, and
রেশিও অফ ফুড এন্ড নন ফুড
sure.
খাবার এবং ব্যবহার্য জিনিসপত্রের যে রেশিওটা আছে অনুপাত সেই অনুপাত আমরা বের করেছি খাবারের খরচ এর সাথে যোগ করা হয়েছে ব্যবহার্য জিনিসপত্র এবং সেটাকে ভাগ করা হচ্ছে অ্যাকচুয়াল যে প্রকৃত যে খাবারের খরচ সেটি দিয়ে ভাগ করে এই হিসাবটা বের করা হয়েছে এবং
Actually, this is the mathematical term how we have calculated this living wage and total expenditure. Actually, we have collected information, the calorie expenditure of a three-member family for a month. And
ক্রয় ক্ষমতার গুরুত্ব সেই ক্রয় ক্ষমতার গুরুত্ব অনুযায়ী তাকে কনভার্ট করা হয়েছে এবং সেটাকে আবার অঞ্চল ভিত্তিক এশিয়ার বিভিন্ন দেশের সাথে ইয়া করা হয়েছে এভারেজ একটা গড় হিসাব আমরা তৈরি করেছি এবং
the food price and non-food items price were fixed on the basis of Asian countries' average price of essentials and food items, and later it was divided in.
নেক্সট ইয়েস আমাদের এই যে জরিপ সেই জরিপের যে মূল তথ্যগুলি আমরা পেয়েছি
in the survey we find it some important information that I wish to share now with you all. In Bangladesh government sectors, there 30% male workers and 70% female workers among the sample size of workers we have a survey during our survey time. The age of the workers below 60, over 69, 1%, between 39 to 48, 6%, 29 to 38, 54%, 19 to 28 age group, it is 80%.
এবং বাংলাদেশে গার্মেন্টস সেক্টরে কর্মরত শ্রমিকদের যে শিক্ষাগত যে অবস্থা, সেই অবস্থাও এখানে চলে এসেছে। এখানে এই শ্রমিকদের মধ্যে 2% আছে
in educational category, we found 2% graduate and above that, and 6% are higher secondary level, and 11% secondary school, 32% workers are middle school, and 47%, the highest number, they have just completed their primary schooling, and literate 2% in the says. The employment status in we find that 63% of total workers, they are working as a regular worker, and 33% on temporary or on casual basis workers. Only 4% they are manpower workers. The family size of the workers, 4% of total workers have more than six persons in their family. 40% workers have 4 to 6 persons in their family. 22% of total workers have their 2 to 3% in their family, and 34% workers, they live alone. Yes. If you see the age of their children, it is we find 6 to 18 years old children among 44%. In the workers family, we find 56% families, they have children between 6 to 18 years old, and 44% have no children. And we find children is between below 6 years, 47% of the families, and no children in 53% of the family. We find that among the workers, we find checker 1%, cutter 2%, helpers 13%, and other sectors is 16%. The highest 68% workers are trader or working as sewing. Next slide, please. If we see the workers' income and earning members,
যে ইনকাম একটি পরিবারের এবং ইন্ডিভিজুয়াল যে ইনকাম, সেই ইনকামের হিসাব এখানে একটা পরিবারের সর্বমোট আয় হচ্ছে 24,107।
it is found that a family a total earn taka 24,137, and individual person earn 10,821.
হচ্ছে 26% এবং
And 80% of the family, 26% of the family, they have one earning member in their family, and two earning members in family, it is found 68%, and three or more workers earn, it is only 6%. Next, please.
এখানে খাবারের খরচ এবং
The garments worker income individually 10,000, average 10,000 and 821 taka, and a family earn 24,136 taka. But the actual expenditure they have for food 10,654 taka. For non-food, they expend 13,619 taka. A total expenditure they have 24,373 taka. Next slide, please.
যে এখানে এই স্লাইডে আসলে মানে শ্রমিকের যে খাবারের যে খরচ
We have shown this slide, the what type of meal the workers take in a month basis. The workers take meat. Workers spend 25% of their food item in meat items. For cereal, they expend 20%. For vegetable and food, they expend 20%. For oils, 9%. For milk and milk products, they expend 9%. For cooked meals, they expend 5%. It's ready-made food. And spices, they expend 3%. For sugar and salt percent, they expend 2%. Now, for beverages and juice, they don't have any expenditure. Next slide, please.
মাথাপিছু যে পুষ্টি মানে ইনকাম মানে আয় এবং সেই সাথে মাথাপিছু
The daily income and per capita nutrition rate we have also find here. In Bangladesh, individual income 10,821 individually, but the family earn 24,136 taka in a family. But per capita consumption of nutrition per day is 1,950 calorie per day, that need 130 20 taka.
Please go a little quick.
yes next slide
Next slide, please.
next yes
Yes.
are you saying something
Yeah, I was saying that you have 1 more minute to go.
okay
Can you go?
thank you go, just next slide please
Yes.
next slide এখানে আমরা মানে যে হিসাবটা পেয়েছি যে খাবার এবং ব্যবহার্য যে জিনিসপত্র সেই জিনিসপত্রের যে খরচ সেই খরচে
We have found out the comparison between actual expenditure of food, non-food, and total expenditure, how worker expend their family. We find that 10,750 for food, and non-food they expend 13,619 taka. The total expenditure of a family is 24,373 taka. The ratio is for food they expend 44, and non-food 56% of the total expenditure. Next slide, please.
আফওয়ার যে বাঁচার মতো যে মজুরির কনজাম্পশনের
AFWA calculated the calculated calorie to set the minimum living wage, and here we find that actual expenditure of a worker, they have for food 10,754 taka. For non-food item, they expend 15,619 taka. That means total 24,373 taka for a worker. And it is 44% they expend for their food item and 56% for their non-food item. And AFWA believes that a worker need, if we calculate 3,000 calorie per calorie for a family need 19,424 for food, and non-food item they need 21,030 taka. That means a worker actually need 40,442, where the now their salary is for 24,373. Next slide, please. We have compared living and ways with some other Asian and other garment exporting countries.
বাংলাদেশের এবং সেই সাথে এশিয়ার অন্যান্য দেশগুলির হিসাবও আমরা পেয়েছি। তো এখানে বাংলাদেশি টাকায় মানে
we see that a worker, if they want to lead a decent life, if we calculate it 3,000 calorie per day, workers need 40,442.
এবং মানে ক্রয় ক্ষমতার যে গুরুত্ব অনুযায়ী যে রেট আছে সেই রেট হচ্ছে 33 এবং সেই অনুযায়ী 1,219 মানে হিসাবটা এখানে আমরা পেয়েছি। এবং এই জায়গায় আপনারা দেখবেন যে এশিয়ার আরো যে দেশগুলি
if we look at this presentation, you will see that some other Asian, we have compared the same living expenditure and other issues here, and you are seeing that how they need. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Yes, thank you very much. মানে লিভিং ওয়েজের এশিয়ার যে গড় হিসাব এবং সেই সাথে 3,000 কিলো ক্যালোরি প্রতি পার পার্সন পার ডে হিসাব অনুযায়ী এবং অ্যাকচুয়াল রেশিও এবং খাবার এবং ব্যবহার্য জিনিস।
If we see this, the living wage estimation in 2022, calculating the price of essential goods and living standard, we see that 51,994 taka is living wage for Bangladesh.
সালে সেটা হচ্ছে 51,954.51 টাকা এবং 2020 সালে একইভাবে জরিপ চালানো হয়েছিল, সেই জরিপের হিসাব অনুযায়ী ছিল 48,280 টাকা। এবং ঠিক একইভাবে এশিয়ার অন্যান্য দেশগুলি যেমন কম্বোডিয়া, ইন্ডিয়া, ইন্দোনেশিয়া, মায়ানমার, পাকিস্তান এবং শ্রীলঙ্কার হিসাবটিও এখানে তুলে ধরা হয়েছে। তো সময় স্বল্পতার কারণে আমরা
for the shortest of time, we are not sharing all this issue. Please, next slide.
Next. এখানে আপনার যে রেশিও non-food ratio
AFWA calculated ratio of food and non-food item. It is the 45% for food and 55% for non-food item. Here we are seeing that
এবং আপনার বাসার মতো মজুরি ক্যালকুলেশন 3,000 কিলো ক্যালোরি ধরে
If we calculate 3,000 calorie for healthy life, and we find that according to AFWA estimation, a worker needs 43,139 taka for a worker. And we have seen the same calculation for any for other Asian countries as well. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
মানে অ্যাকচুয়াল রেশিও এবং আপার স্ট্যান্ডার্ড রেশিও এখানে আমরা একটু সর্বশেষ এখানে তুলে ধরা হয়েছে, সেটা একটু আপনাদেরকে জানিয়ে দেওয়ার জন্য চেষ্টা করব। সেটা হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশের টাকা অনুযায়ী
According to the value of money, workers need 51,994.51 taka. But AFWA standard, according to AFWA standard, a worker needs in 2021 53,140 taka.
ছিল সেটা হচ্ছে 48,280। নেক্সট স্লাইড প্লিজ।
Next slide, please.
সকলকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ।
Thank you all for listening and giving your valuable time. Yeah.
ফাইন্ডিংস গুলি এগুলি সবাই মনোযোগ দিয়ে শোনার জন্য
Thank you.
সময় বেশি নিয়ে ফেলেছি
And sorry for taking much time.
শেষ করছি।
Thank you all.
আবিদা প্লিজ।
Over to you, Abida.
Thank you, Arfur. It is my pleasure to now invite Comrade Ashim Roy, who is member of International Secretariat Asia Flowage Alliance and Vice President of New Trade Union Initiative, which is an independent and progressive trade union from India, to talk about how AFWA's living wage benefit Bangladesh minimum wage negotiation for the RMG sector. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Comrade Ashim Roy to speak. Comrade, you have around 6 minutes to speak. So please be a little precise. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. First, I would like to, on behalf of the Asia Flowage and union comrades in India and other parts of garment industry workers in the Asia, to congratulate for making this event, and particularly the Bangladesh trade union comrades who have taken this initiative to actually, for the first time, intervene into the minimum wage struggle in Bangladesh. As we all know, the struggle in Bangladesh, particularly for the garment workers, is a very important struggle and would have an impact and affect the minimum wage in almost all the Asian countries. In many ways, the struggle in Cambodia and in Bangladesh impact the minimum wage and the wage level of the Asian garment workers. A lot has been said by Arifur. I'm not going to repeat, and I wanted to make it very brief. What I would like to bring out is that the Asia Floor Wage is essentially an alliance in order to debunk the falsity that the brands have been saying for decades, that they are paying something, a wage which can be a living wage in some sense. I think Asia Floor Wage has conclusively proved that the statement of the brands that they are paying living wages are false and was meant more to actually hoodwink the people of Asia and the workers to their own understanding of what the reality is. What I want to bring out is that, but as I said, that when the Asia Floor Wage really began the process of making living wage, And as you can rightly see that if the formula of the Asia Pro which is taken into consideration, then the living wage in Bangladesh should be about 53,000 takas, which is really the legitimate, the proper proper wage that a worker in the Bangladesh, or for that matter, in any part of the Asia should get it. But our point of view about what is a living wage needs to be linked to what is the minimum wage in each of this country. And that is why we are making this effort. And I think Bangladesh is the first place where the coalition of the Asia Pro Wage unions have decided to collectively intervene with a scientific investigation and a debate in order to assess what should be the minimum wage in Bangladesh. I do want to tell you the linkage as we see it between the living wage and the minimum wage. Minimum wage in all countries is decided by law, whereas whatever be the living wage, the law decides what the government decides should be the minimum wage in which any industry should work, whether it's a domestic industry or an export industry works. What we suggest and what we have been always been saying, that the living wage is a struggle not only for minimum wage, but beyond that, against the brands who can pay much more, like many industries in the world. When they have more paying capacity, when they have more profit, they should pay more. So we want to divide the wage struggle into two parts: what the government should declare as a minimum wage and what we demand from the brands as a living wage. And in somehow to link up this to struggle is to really bring the difference between the minimum wage struggle, which is against the government, and the living wage, which is against the brand for higher wages than even the legal minimum wage. Now, if you look into the data that has been showed and shared by AFWA, one thing is very clear, that any global standards of what is called the calorie requirement for a normal sedentary, that is a normal human being, not working class, not working people who are working almost 12 hours a day to work in the garment factories, not there. Even at this 1950 is something that is obnoxious. No country should be able to work at that low level of caloric intent. That means the workers are actually not recovering from the energy they're giving to the factories, which is very, very important to understand. So I think
ಅದು minimum wage ಅದು ಏ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ
this kind of low caloric intake is lower than
low कम कैलोरी में कम खाद्य ग्रहण करे जे
we do believe
calories तो burn हो रही है, लेकिन उनको
will bring a convergence of another understanding that at least even in the minimum wage, the caloric content should be almost similar. It's at 2,300 calories. India, there is an average between 2,100 calories and 2,400 calories between urban and free in middle. So there are many countries in which there is a very clear understanding, and we do want to see how this minimum wage struggle actually allows for the people to give the money among us. Now, what is very clear from the survey, that even at working for more than 10 hours to 12 hours, almost 2 person per family, the workers are not been able to recover in Bangladesh 1,900, not even 2,100 calories, which is a poverty level, which means that even working 10 hours, even working 2 people per family, forget about the woman's contribution to homework and other things, even then they are not being able to recover the normal expenditure that happens in their families, which is around 24,000 Bangladesh taka. And that is why we believe that at least at a minimum level, the government should really give that amount of money Now it can range between 22,000 calories demanded by some unions to 25,000 calories, 25,000 Bangladesh taka. That is almost 3 times the existing wage level of 8,000 taka. So it's a big struggle. It's an important struggle. It's a struggle in which the workers and the unions in the Bangladesh are united, and we in the garment sector from all over the Asia have to really show our solidarity and support and say that your minimum wage struggle at whatever agreement that you come in between 22, 24, and 25, it doesn't matter because it is at least in the range of 3 times you can have differences. Differences between the unions is only about 10% between the minimum and the maximum. But that amount of 2,400 average that we are talking about is almost 3 times the minimum wage that has been given by the government. So the struggle is very important. It doesn't matter where you agree on in the finally, but the struggle shows that the workers and the garment workers in particularly are not willing to anymore live and work at super exploitation level. We cannot accept something of this nature. And so I again want to express my solidarity. I want to express solidarity on behalf of the Asia Pro Wage union from all over the Asia, and believe that these struggles of yours, in whatever capacity that we can support you, give moral support, give legitimacy to your struggle, which the Asia Pro Wage is doing, in order to see that you make a major gain in terms of the living, in terms of the legal wage, which is what the minimum wage is. But I would still call upon all of you to see that the unions in Bangladesh come together to take the brands which are super exploiting us and fight beyond the legal wage of the minimum wage to really demand what actually legitimately the Asia Pro Wage says, that it should be around 53,000 takas, which is what a good union movement, a good industry should be able to pay. And many industries in Bangladesh do pay that amount of money where there's a strong collective bargaining tradition. But in absence of a collective bargaining tradition, the workers have to rely on minimum wage. And so the minimum wage should be also, as has become very clear, almost half of the living wage that we demand. And it is at that level that the struggle is at this moment. And we really look forward to the struggle. I once again, as I said, want to wish all of you a great success and our solidarity and comradeship to the struggles of Bangladesh workers. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Ashim, for your valuable insight and perspective. It is my honor to now invite Comrade Abul Hassan, who is the President of Textile Garment Workers Federation and member of National Committee of Asia Floor Wage Alliance Bangladesh, to give us the synopsis of Bangladesh minimum wage negotiation process and the challenges and opportunities they are facing as a trade unionist. So over to you, Comrade Abul Hassan.
সবাইকে শুভেচ্ছা জানাচ্ছি এশিয়ান ফ্লোরেজ বাংলাদেশ চ্যাপ্টারের পক্ষ থেকে।
আমি আবুল হোসেন, আপনাদের সবাইকে আই এম আবুল হোসেন on from Bangladesh. I wish to welcome you all, and those who are from different countries are listening me. Those who are from different organizations and different trade union bodies, I wish to welcome you all. We are just a day before the International Labor Day. It is May Day. I wish to congratulate you on behalf of this day. The demand of May Day was 8 hours working, but still it is not established in all sectors in Bangladesh. Though government have ratified this convention to ensure 6 hours of working, but it is not implemented here. Just 4 days back, we have celebrated the Rana Plaza anniversary. It is the deadliest incident in the industrial sector of this country. Thousands of workers, hundreds of workers who went to work there in a factory for themselves and for their family, but they became the victim of death. Today, we are discussing about the minimum wage of Bangladeshi workers. Here, I wish to say something on the issue now. On the under the alliance of AFWA, what type of works we have done. This is very important, and on the basis of that, you have listen. We have saw a survey, and what is the findings of the survey? You already know that better. In Bangladesh, RMG sector, the wage workers are drawing is really very low than their living cost. This is not the estimation from trade unionist. It is calculated by some others also, and they also think that this wage is inhuman. And this wage cannot ensure continuous development and production of these sectors. For ensuring future production and development of these sectors,
বিভিন্ন শ্রমিক সংগঠন এবং জোট সমূহ আমরা সরকারের কাছে দাবি পেশ
behalf
করেছি
of जो है वो वर्कर्स में हमने डिमांड की है गवर्नमेंट से इस वक्त ये बहुत शॉर्ट टाइम के अंदर जो है वो कि
থেকে আমরা এই দাবিটা করেছি অপরাপর শ্রমিক সংগঠনগুলো এই দাবিটা তুলে ধরেছে। আমরা বলেছি সমস্ত হিসাব নিকাশ কোষে যে এখনকার
Hay dương các bạn
বাজার ব্যবস্থার সাথে যদি শ্রমিকদের জীবনযাপন বা তাদের উৎপাদনক্ষম শক্তি রক্ষা করতে হয় তাহলে
harga pasaran untuk barang-barang
ছাড়া আর কোনো বিকল্প নেই। তাই আমাদের সংগঠন এবং AFWA
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸು ಮళ్ళీ ಎಸೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಇದು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ ಕೊಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ 24,000 ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ 8% ఇది ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇದೆ.
আমরা মনে করি যে শিল্পের মালিকেরা
ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಟು ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ అనేది ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಫ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ರಿ ಓನರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆನ್ಸಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಇವ್ರಿಗೆ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಗೊತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಇವಾಗ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದೆ, ಕನ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ. ಇವಾಗ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ವೀಕ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
বিশেষ করে মেড ইন বাংলাদেশের এই ক্যাম্পেইন যদি আরো জোরদার করতে হয় তাহলে গার্মেন্টস শ্রমিকদের ন্যূনতম মজুরি বৃদ্ধি করার আর কোনো উপায় নেই, না করার কোনো উপায়
ನಾವು ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಂತ್ ಮಾಡಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ವೇತನ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು ಥೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮೂವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ.
16,000 টাকা সেটা আমরা অর্ধেকে পরিণত করতে পেরেছিলাম।
ಸೊ ಇವಾಗ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ అనేది 18,000 అనేది ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಇವಾಗ ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್.
$56 গিয়ে পৌঁছেছে, তখন ছিল $57।
ಸೊ ವರ್ಕರ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ అనేది ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಾವು ಡಿಮ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ತಗೊಂತಾ ಇದೀವಿ. ಅದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ 18,000 ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರಬೇಕು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಕರ್ಗೆ.
টাকার অঙ্কের বেশি মনে হলেও ডলার 200 প্লাস। তো আমাদের এশিয়ার অন্যান্য দেশগুলোতে এখনকার বিদ্যমান মজুরি অ্যারাউন্ড 2000 এর মধ্যে 200 এর মধ্যে রয়েছে, $200 মধ্যে রয়েছে। সো এটা খুব বেশি মনে হবে না 24,000 টাকা। ডলারে যদি হিসাব করে দেখি যে $200+ আমরা দাবি করেছি, কিন্তু আমরা জানি যে এই 24,000 টাকা দাবি করলেও আমরা
ನಾವು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವೇಜ್ ಎಷ್ಟು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬೇರೆ ಆಸಿಯಾ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ನಿಗದಿ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟಿದೆ ಆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್, ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು
ডাবল করতে হবে, এর কোনো বিকল্প নেই। তার মানে হচ্ছে যদি আমার এই শিল্পকে টিকে রাখতে চাই তাহলে এর মজুরি বৃদ্ধি করতে হবে। আমি এখানে
बिल्कुल मैं एक बार फिर आपसे बात करना चाहूंगा कि जो इस वक्त जो हम मतलब ये चीज के ऊपर हमारा बिल्कुल इत्तेफाक है कि
দারিদ্রতার
Hike is a must. I want to share another information that the government estimated that the family those have less than 20,000 taka monthly income, they are below the poverty level. But those who are RMC workers, they have less than, and mostly the RMC workers, they earn less than 20,000 taka. That means these workers are below poverty level. That means if the government wish to bring the garment worker above the poverty line, they must set a minimum wage more than 20,000 taka.
না নিলে এই শিল্পে উৎপাদন এবং উন্নয়ন বজায় রাখা সম্ভব হবে না। তো আমি আমাদের
Without wage hike, it is not possible to continue
ধন্যবাদ জানাই বিশেষ করে
production and growth of this sector. So I will request the minimum wage hike.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, Comrade Abul Hassan. Thank you, Comrade Abul Hassan, for your insight and reflection. As I mentioned earlier, that Bangladesh is the second largest manufacturer and exporter of the garments in the world. At the same time, it is also predominated by women. So in the minimum wage negotiation in Bangladesh, it is very important to see the gender perspective while we are considering the minimum wages. So now I would like to invite Comrade Qazi Rahima, who will be addressing why gender justice matter in Bangladesh minimum wage negotiation. Talking about Qazi Rahima, she is the president of Garment Worker Unity League and convener of the National Committee of Asia Floor Wage Alliance Bangladesh. Over to you, Comrade Qazi Rahima.
রহিমা আপা 5 মিনিটের মধ্যে শেষ করার চেষ্টা করব।
now Rahima Akhtar Shakti will present
He's muted. She's
her
muted.
Comrade, you need to just give me a second.
speech
Comrade,
on
you need to unmute yourself.
gender and labor issue.
Thank you, Abida. শুভ সকাল। এশিয়া ফ্লোর ওয়েজ অ্যালায়েন্স
Thank you all. On behalf of AFWA, I welcome everyone. I want to thank Asia Floorways for this good arrangement. I was listening you all of you. Now I will say what is the condition of Bangladesh labor workers in Bangladesh. Although Bangladesh is among the developed countries, women are lagging behind. Women's labor power is one of the resources for Bangladesh's progress. Bangladesh is moving towards its development target based on the labor force, elevating from a least developed country to a developing country.
বেশ কিছু ক্ষেত্রে পিছিয়ে আছে বাংলাদেশের নারী শ্রমিকেরা। সেখানে এখনো উন্নতির অনেক বেশি প্রয়োজন। তার মধ্যে প্রাতিষ্ঠানিক ও অপ্রতিষ্ঠানিক নারী শ্রমিকদের অন্তর্ভুক্ত
Bangladesh is among the developing countries. It is lagging behind in several areas.
মাতৃত্বকালীন ছুটি নিশ্চিত করতে হবে, সন্তানের জন্য জীবযত্ন কেন্দ্রের ব্যবস্থা করা অত্যন্ত প্রয়োজন। শ্রম আইনে জেন্ডার ভিত্তিক সহিংসতা ও হয়রানি
Still, we need to ensure maternity leave, education for our workers, uh, uh, and ensuring workers wage in same time and ensuring timely wage.
নীতিমালায় শ্রম আইনের যথাযথ প্রয়োগ নিশ্চিত করতে
In
বিভিন্ন কলকারখানা
the
প্রতিষ্ঠানকে তদারকি ও পর্যবেক্ষণের আওতায় আনতে হবে। আমি সেটা মনে করি। নারীদের
ensuring women presentation in trade union and conducting awareness campaigning about labor's law and their rights for women workers.
নারী শ্রমিকদের শ্রম আইন এবং তার অধিকার সচেতন করতে প্রচারণা চালাতে হবে। বাংলাদেশে নারী
Bangladesh has enacted many special laws to prevent gender-based harassment and violence. However, the legal framework to prevent workplace harassment and violence is still relatively weak. Workplace harassment and violence are not defined in Bangladesh labor law. Section 332 of Labor Act deals with indecent and rude behavior towards women, which is not gender sensitive. Bangladesh labor law in 2006 treated of women in section 332. It doesn't specially address various forms of harassment and violence against women in workers. The maximum penalty under the law is only 25,000 taka. In 2009, the Supreme Court of Bangladesh made a policy to prevent sexual harassment in educational institution and workplace. But even after 13 years, it has not been fully implemented. In this regard, in 2009 policy, the defined sexual harassment. However, according to ILO Charter 190, there is a need to include gender-based violence and harassment in the law. The policy of 2009 deals with the punishment of the harassers, but the victim of harassment, there is nothing more than counseling. Apart from this, the enforcement framework of gender-based violence and labor law is very weak. For this, the labor law need to be amended. 2009 policy implementation and monitoring needed to be ensured.
অনেক বেশি সহিংসতার শিকার ও যৌন হয়রানির শিকার হন। পোশাক কারখানায় যারা শ্রমিক তাদের অধিকাংশ যেহেতু
In average, 60 to 80% of workers work in every garment factory made in Bangladesh. Many of the women workers making garment
নির্যাতনের শিকার হয়। তো সেদিক থেকে
garment workers in garment factory become victim of physical abuse and mental abuse.
খুব সহজেই তাদেরকে একটু গুটিয়ে রাখে এবং সাই ফিল করে সর্বক্ষেত্রে।
And they don't complain to the authority because they are shy. So women violence against women is higher than any other sectors, and women also face wage discrimination as well.
তারা মজুরির বৈষম্য শিকারটা যখন তারা হয় তখন দেখা যায় যে মজুরি বৈষম্য তাকে কম মজুরিতে বেশি কাজ করতে দেওয়া হচ্ছে।
Female workers were forced to work more in a less wage than her male worker.
কারখানায় যারা নির্যাতন করে তারা ওই শ্রমিকের মানবিক বোধ
The people who are oppressing on women in factory, they must bring in book. I think that a good working environment is very important, and I think awareness among female workers is important to ensure to aware about their rights. And I must say that exemplary punishment of the people who are involved in harassment also an important issue to stop this type of sexual harassment in workplace. To reduce the wage discrimination, I will request the people who are involved in this wage minimum wage board to ensure the rights of women and their wage, their maternity leave, their childcare center in the factories. And I think that this will help to improve the production. And it's a sad thing is that when women get maternity leave, they cannot get back their job in the same factory after after the end of maternity leave. I will request all to ensure this.
যৌন হয়রানি রোধে আমাদের কারো বিকল্প কোনো পন্থা বা আমাদেরকে বের করতে হবে। সবাইকে ধন্যবাদ আমাকে এই কথা বলতে দেওয়ার
And we should find out any more steps that can be taken to stop this type of harassment. Thank you all.
Pleasure to now invite Comrade Ananya, who is International Coordinator of Asia Floor Wage Alliance, to share a solidarity message with the ready-made garment sector workers of Bangladesh. I would like to welcome Comrade Ananya to speak now. Over to you, Comrade.
Thank you, Abida, and thank you to all the comrades who have spoken before me. I'll be very brief. I know we have very little time. I am just here to express our support for the trade union partners' demands for a justified increase in minimum wage in Bangladesh. As many have pointed out already, garment workers are not able to even consume the food that Bangladesh government prescribes for poverty level. So right now, Bangladeshi garment workers from our consumption survey are consuming less calories than even poverty level figure given by the government. So I am hoping that the government will give attention to this and honor the trade union demands. We have trade unions from Cambodia, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Indonesia in the room today, all supporting this demand, which is 3 times what is the current minimum wage average. The fact that the minimum wage that trade unions are demanding are 3 times the last one shows both that the increase last time was inadequate and that the revision now is happening over too long a period. Too many years have passed. So that means the minimum wage needs more frequent revision, and one cannot wait this long. And furthermore, this time, we want the minimum wage. We want to support the trade union demand for a minimum wage, which is not, as Comrade Abul said, amanobik, meaning inhuman. It should not be an inhuman minimum wage as it has been in the past. Asia Floor Wage Alliance supports trade unions to close the gap between the minimum wage struggle and the living wage. As Comrade Oshim already said, in the living wage, we are targeting brands to pay the living wage through the global wage forward struggle that we are involved in with CCC, WRC, and other allied organizations. In the minimum wage struggle, we stand shoulder to shoulder with the Bangladeshi trade union partners for supporting the demand they have. And both from the brand side, living wage, from the government side, minimum wage, our goal is to slowly close the gap in the coming years so that workers are paid only one wage and that is a fair and good wage. So again, we are supporting the trade union partners' demands, which on an average right now is 3 times the last time's minimum wage. This is a must, and the way workers are suffering right now cannot continue. And we stand with you 100%. Thank you very much. Over to you, Abida.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ananya. It is an honor to have Comrade Aslam Miraj from Pakistan with us to share a solidarity message with the garment workers of Bangladesh. Aslam Miraj is president of Textile Power Loom Garment Workers Federation. He is general secretary of Labor Comic Movement, and which is one of the most inspiring movement of working class in Pakistan. He has been working as a committed labor right organizer and trade unionist for more than 2 decades. Thank you so much, Comrade Aslam Miraj. Over to you.
Hello everyone. First of all, I would like to thank you all for giving this opportunity. And I extend my full support and solidarity with the workers of Bangladesh for their minimum wage negotiation. And on behalf of my federation, I extend my solidarity as well.
ये 2018 में बांग्लादेश में मिनिमम वेज बोर्ड जो है वो बनाया गया, मगर वहाँ की अब बांग्लादेश की ट्रेड यूनियन की ये जिम्मेदारी है कि इस बोर्ड में जो वर्कर्स की नुमाइंदगी होती है,
So the minimum wage board, we should have a proper representation of workers so that they can fairly put the demands of workers while negotiating on the minimum wage. And I think it's important
COVID-19 आया और दीगर दुनिया के ममालिक बिलखुसूस एशियाई
talk about the COVID-19 that how COVID-19 affected the workers, especially in the countries like where we are right now. And I'm sure that there's no difference, though no different treatment COVID done with or the management in Bangladesh during COVID. And the workers were terminated and the factories were closed. And I think it's all the same what we have faced in Pakistan.
क्योंकि हम पाकिस्तान में भी ये कोविड-19 के दौरान
Yes.
वर्कर्स की हालत को बड़ी करीब से हमने देखा है।
Because we have witnessed very closely during COVID that how hard COVID hit the working class and the workers, especially in the garment sector, because the exports were closed.
और उनकी जो माशी असरात उन पर मुरतब हुए, आज भी जो है वो दिखाई दे रहे हैं और उनके असरात मजदूरों पर नजर आ रहे हैं।
And I think it's still continue that we can still see that how the impact COVID had on the working class. So right now in Pakistan, the minimum wage is 25 rupees, which is way too low. See the current inflation rate in Pakistan. I think it's you know.
और फिर ये जो मिनिमम वेज बोर्ड है, ये वर्कर्स की ज़रूरियात, उनकी स्किल और महंगाई के तनासब को मद्देनजर रखकर जो है ये वर्कर की तनख्वाह मुकर्रर नहीं करता।
And we think that when they are setting any minimum wage, the minimum wage board, they don't consider the inflation rate and the things that need to be incorporated. And we don't understand what formula they follow to set this minimum wage. Currently, the minimum the inflation rate is 35% in Pakistan, and there's no wage increase if we compare it to the inflation. and all the basic necessity things that they need to in their daily life. They're hardly able to purchase that. Well, if we talk about their giving a better food to their family, or the medical, if anyone else in their family, they are hardly able to to choose medicine for them.
और इसकी तकरीबन जो महंगाई है इसका अमूमन जो है वो पेट्रोलियम मसनूआत की कीमतों में इजाफे के
There
साथ
are
ही
many factors that we see that the inflation, if we talk about the inflation in Pakistan, that the petroleum prices are changing on every fortnightly, and it had a great impact on the prices of basic product that people consume.
के दौरान एक फूड कंजम्पशन सर्वे किया था तो उस
So
दौरान मुझे ये बखूबी अंदाजा हुआ
the food consumption survey that AFWA did, it really helped us understand the things,
पता चला कि जो मिनिमम वेज और वो
and
इतनी
how
कम
to
है
set a minimum
कि
wage and
उनके
what should be the
कंज्यूमेबल
minimum wage. It really helped us,
तो दूर के
you know,
फायदा पूरे करने हैं जिंदा रहना भी उसके लिए वर्कर के लिए
and the comparison they had, from the real income to what they should have, it was really helpful for us to understand.
रेंट पर रहते हैं यानी उनका हाउस रेंट वगैरह और फिर उनके बच्चे जो छोटे होते हैं उनके लिए जो ज़रूरी फूड है जो उनको हर सूरत में मिलनी चाहिए
Like,
तो उनके पास इतने पैसे नहीं बचते तो जो
so
लोग
they don't have enough income
नहीं
to,
बचते जिससे
to send their children to school, or
पैदा कर सकें और अपनी
provide
ज़िंदगी
them
गुजार सकें
proper lifestyle, and they
और
hardly
इससे तो बहुत ज़्यादा फिर उसको मुतासर
able
होते हैं
to fulfill
जॉबलेस कर
the
दिए
basic
कि वो उन्हें
necessities.
इसकी वेज भी नहीं दी गई ना उनको ग्रेजुएटी दी गई और ना दीगर
And
उनकी
if
जो
I must share with you the comments in the call that
और
there were
किसी
many
को
workers
भी
who were fired and they
मुआवजा
didn't
नहीं
pay
तक
their
नहीं दिया
current final
तो
settlements,
इस
the
तरह
gratuity
मसले
amounts
काफ़ी
and other
जो है
amounts.
वो बांग्लादेश की ट्रेड यूनियन हुकूमत से ये डिमांड कर रही है कि वेज मिनिमम वेज जो है उसको बढ़ाया जाए तो
And
ताकि और फिर मिनिमम वेज कम से कम लिविंग वेज नहीं तो मिनिमम वेज तो कम से कम
so the campaign of our Bangladesh comrade to raise the minimum wage,
और ज़रूरियात को पूरा करने
to
के
at
बाद
least that help workers to fulfill their
बच सके ताकि जब मुश्किल वक्त आता है तो वो
basic expenses, basic needs of their life. I think it's really important,
किसी के आगे
and
हाथ फैलाना ना पड़े
we have
ज़िंदगी का
all
नजरिया
our
बदल जाए
support
तो मैं समझता हूँ
with the workers.
क्योंकि आज की ये मीटिंग बहुत अहमियत की हामिल है क्योंकि कल जो है इंटरनेशनल लेबर डे है तो उसमें
And
हम
it's really important. And I think on May 1st we'll be all celebrating the Labor Day, and I think we should have this on the agenda, on in every event we are organizing, that we should raise our voice and should have this on our agenda, that and support the campaign to increase the minimum wage.
और दीगर जो वर्कर के राइट्स हैं उनके हसूल के लिए कल जल्द से जल्द रैलियां मीटिंग करेंगे हुकूमत से
And it should be the and we should demand the government, and it should be part of our press statements. And
बांग्लादेश के मजदूरों के लिए भी आवाज उठाएंगे
we will not talk about the issues in Pakistan, but we will also include the demands of our Bangladesh comrades, that of raising the minimum wage. It will be also the part of our press release, and in our rally we'll explain our members.
तो ये आवाज़ें हमारी जो हैं एक दूसरे के ममालिक के मजदूरों के लिए कितनी मौसर होनी चाहिए तो उनके हुकूमती वालों तक ये जरूर जाएंगे और हम इंशाल्लाह कल पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो है हमारी
The,
फेडरेशन के तहत और दीगर ट्रेड यूनियन के
on, on 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 the platform of our federation, we ensure that
बांग्लादेश के मजदूरों के लिए
this will be on our agenda on May Day,
और
and we'll extend our full support and solidarity with.
तो प्लीज मुख्तसर कर सकते हैं
जी जी
जी
तकरीबन मेरी बात जो है वो मुकम्मल हो गई है
जी
So I've almost completed my statement. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity.
Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite our next speaker, Comrade Rithinich from Cambodia to share a solidarity message with the government workers of Bangladesh. Comrade Rithinich is president of Independent Trade Union Federation and has been an advocate of labor rights for over 2 decades. Comrade, you have 3 minutes to speak. Is she here?
បាទសួស្តីខ្ញុំសូមអរគុណ
For everyone, I would like to thank AFWA as well as AFWA Cambodia for giving me the opportunity to share my thought and support for Bangladesh. So in general, in Cambodia, we have the minimum wage, and the minimum wage will be increased annually. After in 2013, we did a protest, and some union leaders were arrested. So after 2013, the government decided to increase the minimum wage annually. If we look before 2013, we saw that our situation is very similar to Bangladesh. And at that time, the annual raise is only $5 per year. So right now, I think the demand from Bangladesh is to ensure the minimum wage that is so on behalf of Cambodia, we would like to support the demand for the increase in the minimum wage. And I would like to see the increase annually, or at least once every 2 years, because I've seen that there's inflation everywhere. So I think 5 years is too long. And we can see that whether in Cambodia or in Bangladesh, we can see that the brand and the factory owners, they tend to exploit the workers. And currently in Cambodia, we're like filing complaints regarding the exploitation. And I'm really thankful for the help that we receive. And on behalf of in Tufi, I would like to show our support to the demand, like 3 times the current minimum wage. And if we look at the food consumption, it's like very suitable, really reasonable. And I think it's not that a lot for the workers in Bangladesh. And if we compare the wage in Cambodia to Bangladesh, we tend to have a higher wage in Cambodia. So in Cambodia, the wage is in US dollars. In Cambodia, the minimum wage is about $207.
Can you be a little precise?
And finally, on behalf of Intufi, we would like to express our support for Bangladesh to increase the minimum wage to 3 times the current wage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ritinath. To conclude today's event, I would like to invite my colleague from Sri Lanka, Ms. Vishmi, to give us a concluding remark. Over to you, Shmi.
Thank you, Abida. So as this discussion comes to an end, what we have to keep in mind is that this is just a small step towards our fight for a minimum wage for all garment workers in Asia. As we have begun this fight in Bangladesh today, we will begin the fight across the whole of Asia as we mobilize ourselves to hold brands and suppliers accountable for its action towards workers who, despite the working conditions, continue to contribute to keep our economies alive. Fighting and winning a respectable minimum wage is our way of progressing towards a living wage, because unless we have a strong foundation to build upon, a living wage will almost always be impossible to achieve. As we have come together here today for Bangladesh, we will do so in the future for our fellow comrades in Cambodia, India, Indonesia, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka as well. Thank you to all our fellow comrades that have made time to join us here today and stand in solidarity as we help each other to create better standards for garment workers in Asia. We look forward to continue and build our strength in our fight for acceptable minimum wages and ultimately a living wage for all garment workers. Thank you once again, and let's keep the fight alive. Good day to everyone, and hope you all have a great weekend.